Bgmc. The biblical truth lives here.
The ancient Hebrew scriptures foretold of the Anointed One, Yeshua HaMashiach. The Messiah Yeshua came to call the people back to the truth of His word and to follow that righteous path. Yeshua then called Jewish men to be His disciples, and after His death and resurrection, those Jewish men told the world about the Jewish Messiah. Now, after 2,000 years, Beth Goyim Messianic congregation has that same calling of those Jewish men, telling all people, both Jew and Gentile, about the proper ancient path, teaching the Route 66 King's Highway from Genesis through to Revelation, and how you need and can get back to the proper roots of the faith and a closer walk with God. Now, let's hear the message.
Let's go get a blessing. Turn
Vamos
to the book of Galatians chapter 3.
Vamos en búsqueda de una bendición. Abramos nuestras Biblias en Gálatas capítulo 3.
This is Galatians part number 6.
Este es Gálatas, parte número 6.
It is one of our most watched Bible studies on the web.
Este es uno de nuestros estudios bíblicos más visto en la página web.
Okay, we're going to try to finish this up in hopefully another 5 weeks.
Vamos a tratar de terminar esto. Esperemos que dentro de unas 5 semanas.
As long as Liz stays quiet tonight. She's always causing trouble. All right, Galatians chapter 3.
Gálatas capítulo 3.
We're in section number 3, verses 8 and 9.
Estamos en la sección número 3, versículo 8 y 9.
Okay, we're up to, if you download the PowerPoint, we're up to 175 slides.
Si descargaste la diapositiva, estamos en la diapositiva número 175.
That's what I say. You shouldn't have even tried it. It's
Eso es
terrible
lo que yo
tasting.
digo.
Okay. She tried the broccoli thing. I told you it would taste like a Diablo. Okay, good.
Robert is like, finally I saw somebody going
I
down.
told you.
It's dry.
It told
It
you.
has too many combinations that makes it.
Somebody just tried some broccoli, dried broccoli thing.
Broccoli chips.
Broccoli chips, just, that's from the pit of Hades. All right. All right. All right, let's come back to the Galatians study so we can turn our stomachs some other way. All right, Galatians chapter 3, verses 8 and 9.
Gálatas capítulo 3, versículo 8 y 9.
Okay. Also the Tanakh foreseeing that Jehovah God would consider the Gentiles righteous when they live by trusting and being faithful. Told the good news to Abraham in advance by saying, in connection with you, all the Goyim will be blessed. So then, those who rely on trusting and being faithful are blessed along with Abraham, who trusted and was faithful. Okay, so we're going to go to look at verse 8 again.
Vamos a leer el versículo 8.
Okay. Also, the Tanakh foreseeing that Jehovah would consider the Gentiles righteous when they live by trusting and being faithful, told the good news to Abraham in advance by saying, in connection with you, all the Goyim will be blessed. Okay, so the Gentiles are righteous when?
Los judíos son justos. ¿Cuándo?
When are they righteous, does Shaul write in verse 8?
¿Cuándo es que son ellos? ¿Cuándo es que los gentiles son justos de acuerdo a Rab Shaul?
When they live and are faithful.
Cuando ellos viven dentro de nuestra fe.
So this really puts a new light on, we're not under the law anymore.
Esto pone un nuevo entendimiento en cuanto de que ya no estamos bajo la ley.
The more you get into the letter to the Galatians,
Mientras más tú te profundizas en la carta de Gálatas,
the more that you will understand that he is talking about keeping the law.
lo más que tú vas a entender de que que la carta se trata de guardar la ley.
You will understand that he's actually talking about being part of the Hebrew family.
Tú entenderás de que esto más se trata de ser parte de la familia de la hebrea.
Okay, so in verse 8 again,
Versículo 8 nuevamente.
also the Tanakh, that's the Old Testament, foreseeing that Jehovah would consider the Gentiles righteous when they live by trusting and being faithful, told the good news to Abraham in advance by saying, in connection with you, all the Goyim will be blessed. Okay, so what is the gospel of Abraham?
¿Cuál es el evangelio de Abraham?
Because it said there in verse 8,
Porque allí dice en el versículo 8,
the good news of Abraham.
las buenas nuevas de Abraham.
So the good news is the gospel. What is the gospel of Abraham?
Las buenas nuevas de Abraham. Entonces, ¿qué significa las buenas nuevas de Abraham?
Okay. Does anybody want to take a guess? Elizabeth? What is the gospel of Abraham?
Torah.
No, Torah was not written on paper. Elizabeth?
He knew in his heart.
I think his gospel is that when he heard God, he obeyed him, like, with no questions asked. His faith, he had emunah to do what God asked him to do.
Finally, yes. Okay. Pick up the microphone and then say that in Spanish. It's right in front of you there.
Creo que las buenas nuevas de Abraham es que él, cuando escuchó la voz del Señor, él fue fiel al obedecer lo que el Señor lo envió a hacer. Esa es mi opinión.
The gospel of Abraham, Elizabeth, is correct.
El evangelio de acuerdo como lo dice, lo explica la hermana Elizabeth, es correcto.
Is being faithful.
Es ser fiel.
But it took Abraham a long time to learn how to be faithful.
Pero le tomó un largo tiempo a Abraham el entender ser fiel.
But also what you need to understand about verse number 8
Pero también lo que necesitas entender sobre el versículo 8
is that Shaul is writing to the Galatians about Abraham.
es que Rab Shaul está escribiendo a los Gálatas sobre Abraham.
Where is Abraham found? What books is he found in?
¿En qué libro es que podemos encontrar a Abraham en la Biblia?
He's found in the Torah. He's found in the book of Bereshit, Genesis.
Él se puede encontrar en el libro de Génesis, en la Torah.
Okay, so you can't talk about somebody if your students don't know who you're talking about.
Tú no puedes hablarle a alguien de alguien si tus estudiantes no saben de quién estás hablando.
Unless you're like the students that are in America today.
Al menos que sea como los estudiantes que hay en los Estados Unidos hoy en día.
And they buy, and all you Latins understand that Che was not a really nice guy.
Che?
El Che Guevara.
El Che Guevara.
You don't know who? I'm going
Yes.
to give you throw the pen at you.
I know who's Che, but the way Rabbi said it, Che, I thought Rabbi
Che.
el Che,
Chiqui,
querido.
Che se dice. Okay.
So,
No,
el Che es alguien de que ellos están diciendo de que nosotros no entendemos quién es él.
he was not one of your more popular guys.
Él no era una persona popular.
He didn't win the valedictorian at high school for brains.
Él no se ganó la beca por ser más inteligente.
Okay. He was a murderer.
Él era un asesino.
And he would kill most liberals and leftists today.
Y él mató a mayoría de los liberales y los izquierdistas hasta el día de hoy.
Okay. But here the kids are wearing Che t-shirts that are being sold, I think in Walmart or something like that, or Kmart.
El libro
No,
se
the
puede,
t-shirts.
yeah, you can get it anywhere. But Walmart, you get them.
Okay.
Que era que él mataría a los
Maybe I should wear one here.
Que él mataría a los discúlpeme, me están corriendo aquí. Que él mataría a los liberales y a los izquierdistas en este momento.
Okay, now why are we talking about Che?
¿Por qué estamos nosotros hablando del Che Guevara?
Because here Abraham is being mentioned in Galatians 3 verse 8, but we're not under the law.
Porque aquí Abraham se está mencionando en Gálatas 3:8, pero no estamos bajo la ley.
Then why would you be reading about Abraham
Entonces, ¿por qué estarías tú leyendo sobre Abraham
if we're not under the law?
si no estamos bajo la ley?
So as you take Galatians very slowly like we've been doing,
Si tú lees a Gálatas despacio como lo hemos estado haciendo,
you can see how it is actually talking about keeping Torah.
ahí te podrás dar cuenta de que cómo está hablando allí de guardar la Torah.
But most of you were misguided by your lame pastors growing up and even as adults.
Pero la mayoría de ustedes fueron mal guiados por sus pastores flojos que no querían hacer las cosas de la
So
manera que es.
the gospel of Abraham is obedience to what God says.
El evangelio de Abraham es la obediencia a lo que Dios dijo.
Now what did Jehovah say in Genesis Bereshit 22?
¿Y qué es lo que Jehová dice en Génesis capítulo 22?
I want you to give me your only son as an offering.
Yo quiero que me entregues a tu único hijo como ofrenda.
And Abraham offered up Yitzhak as Jehovah had said.
Y Abraham ofreció a Isaac como ofrenda, como así mismo él le mandó.
But he didn't question Jehovah, he just did as told.
Él no cuestionó a Jehová, él simplemente hizo lo que se le fue dicho.
But the key is the word finally.
Pero aquí la palabra clave es finalmente.
Because Abraham didn't listen too well in the beginning.
Porque Abraham al principio no escuchaba muy bien.
And we're going to talk about that once we get to chapter 4.
Y vamos a hablar de eso en cuanto lleguemos al capítulo número 4.
Because why? Because he slept with Hagar.
¿Por qué? Porque él se acostó con Agar.
But that wasn't proper.
Esto no fue
He
apropiado.
was not fornicating or adultery. His wife gave him another wife so they can have kids.
No era ni fornicación ni adulterio, simplemente su esposa le entregó a otra mujer para que así tuvieran hijos.
Okay? So verse 8 and 9 again.
Versículo 8 y 9 nuevamente.
Verse 8 and 9.
Versículo 8 y 9.
Let's go on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Is that me or you?
I think it's you, Raul.
Okay. Let's go on to slide number 117. Shalom, Betsy and Oscar. Also, the Tanakh foreseeing that Jehovah would... One second, let me just... Switching frequencies. Let me move this radio away. Also, the Tanakh foreseeing that Jehovah would consider the Gentiles righteous when they live by trusting and being faithful, told the good news to Abraham in advance by saying, in connection with you, all the Goyim would be blessed. So then, those who rely on trusting and being faithful are blessed along with Abraham, who trusted and was faithful. Okay? So, verse number 8, we're talking about in connection with Abraham.
En el versículo número 8 vemos que estamos hablando en conexión con Abraham.
Okay? So we have to be connected with Abraham.
Debíamos estar conectados con Abraham.
Okay? So you're considered righteous when you're not just believe in God,
Tú eres considerado justo no solamente cuando crees en Jehová,
but also when you're faithful.
pero también cuando eres fiel.
Because faithfulness is important to understand.
Porque la fidelidad es importante el entenderla.
Okay? Because in connection with Jehovah,
Porque en conexión con Jehová,
by believing in Jehovah,
por creer en Jehová
and without being faithful, you're like Harry Potter.
y sin ser fiel, tú sería como Harry Potter.
Harry Potter believed in a higher authority, right?
Harry Potter creyó en una autoridad suprema,
But he was a witch or a warlock or whatever you want to call
pero
him.
él era un brujo, un hechicero, lo que como quiera llamarle.
Okay? So you have to have the two parts, is what Shaul is saying here in verse 8 and 9.
Aquí en el versículo 8 y 9 lo que Pablo dice es que tú deberías tener esos dos componentes.
So you have to believe in Jehovah,
Tú deberás creer en Jehová,
you have to believe in Yeshua,
debes creer en Yeshua
and you have to be faithful.
y debes ser fiel.
What is faithfulness? How do I know who is faithful?
¿Qué es la fidelidad? ¿Cómo sé yo quién es fiel?
Okay? This is what most of the church does not understand.
Esto es lo que la mayoría de la iglesia no entiende.
What is faithfulness?
¿Qué significa la fidelidad?
You know, a lot of people feel, I feel blessed when I go there.
Muchas personas dicen, oh, yo me siento bendecido cuando voy a ese lugar.
Or I feel the Spirit in that place.
O yo siento el espíritu en ese lugar.
Come on, you've probably said it yourself. Oh, I just feel the presence of the Lord in that place.
Tal vez muchos de ustedes dijeron esa palabra, yo simplemente siento la presencia del Señor.
As you're cooking your dinner on Sunday afternoon.
Mientras que estabas tú cocinando tu cena el domingo en la tarde.
Or ordering Chinese, not from the kosher Chinese place that we're going to order from Sunday.
Amen.
Okay.
No, y tal vez ordenando tus comidas chinas que no eran kosher.
Okay, so there's two parts as we move further into the study.
Hay dos partes mientras que avanzamos en este estudio.
It's very interesting when you really study like we're studying Galatians.
Es muy interesante cuando estudias de la manera que estamos estudiando a Gálatas.
How the sections of the letter are very important to study.
Como las secciones de la carta son bien importantes para estudiarlas.
Because once you know the one part,
Porque una vez que tú conozcas una parte,
you're not going to misunderstand the next part.
tú no vas a malinterpretar la próxima.
Because later on when he says, the condemnation, what I always hear from Gentiles, the condemnation of the law. We're no longer under the condemnation of the law.
Lo que siempre escucho de los repeat that?
We're no longer under the condemnation of the law.
Lo que siempre escucho de los mundanos es de que no estamos bajo la condenación de la ley.
Okay? So, once you understand that is absolutely not what he's talking about.
Una vez que tú entiendas que absolutamente él no está hablando nada de eso.
Because you can't be trusting and faithful if you're not going to know what the Father in heaven wants, right?
Porque tú no puedes ser fiel y confiar si no sabes lo que el Padre en el cielo va a hacer.
All right, let's go on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Verse 8 and 9 once again, please.
Versículo 8 y 9 nuevamente, por favor.
Also the Tanakh, foreseeing that Jehovah would consider the Gentiles righteous when they live by trusting and being faithful, told the good news to Abraham in advance by saying, in connection with you, all the goyim will be blessed. So then, those who rely on trusting and being faithful are blessed along with Abraham, who trusted and was faithful. Okay, in verse 8, I just didn't touch on this.
En el versículo 8 se me olvidó pasar por esto.
But the word God there has to be Jehovah.
Pero la palabra Dios allí tiene que ser Jehová.
It has to be the Father's name, Yud He Vav He.
Tiene que ser el nombre del Padre, Yod He Vav He.
So, if you got another translation, and even in the CJB, it uses the word God.
Y si tienes otra traducción y aún así en la Biblia completa judía usa el nombre Dios.
But since we're talking about Abraham, it has to be the Father.
Pero de acuerdo como estamos hablando de Abraham, entonces esto tendría que ser el Padre.
So if you have a Spanish and it says Dios, put Jehovah there. Cross out Dios.
Si tu traducción en español dice Dios, te sugiero que hagas que cruces eso, subrayes esa parte y le ponga Jehová.
The reason I say that
Y la razón por la que digo esto
is by knowing what the proper name would be for that sentence.
es por saber el nombre apropiado que dice aquí en esta oración.
It'll give you a different reference point for reading.
Te va a dar un punto de referencia diferente a la hora de leer.
Okay. Do I keep freezing on the stream or on WebEx, Denise? Okay. Need to answer that. So. WebEx. Okay, let me just got all these messages coming in. Joshua, others are there. Are there. Always fun technology on Tuesday. Okay. Let's see. Let me just answer this. Sorry, I'm being tech rabbi now. I don't know. We'll just deal with it for now. All right. So once you understand that it's Jehovah,
Una vez que tú entiendas que es Jehová,
it gives you a different perspective on what you're reading.
te da una perspectiva diferente de lo que estás leyendo.
Okay, so let's read verse 9.
Vamos a leer el versículo 9.
So then those who rely on trusting and being faithful are blessed along with Abraham, who trusted and was faithful. So what we're talking about now,
De lo que estamos hablando ahora,
so if you're faithful to Jehovah, you will be blessed like Abraham.
si tú eres fiel a Jehová, tú vas a ser bendecido como Abraham.
So conversely, what else would you then say?
Ahora, si lo opuesto de que tú no eres bendecido, ¿qué será?
That if you're free from the law, you cannot be faithful.
Entonces, si tú eres libre de la ley y no puedes ser fiel,
It's like, we wear wedding rings.
como nosotros no ponemos argollas de matrimonio.
But a lot of men take those wedding rings off as soon as they leave the house. I don't like the way it feels.
Pero hay muchos hombres que se quitan su anillo de matrimonio cuando salen de la casa y dicen, porque es que no me gusta cómo se siente.
Because they don't want, that's a bunch of garbage because they just don't want the women at work knowing that he's married.
Esto a mí me parece mucha basura. Creo que la situación es que ellos no quieren que sus compañeras de trabajo sepan que son casados.
Faithful means a commitment to somebody else.
La fidelidad significa un compromiso con la otra persona.
And most people don't understand what a commitment is all about.
Y la mayoría de las personas no entienden qué es eso.
Okay? So when you don't understand what a marriage commitment is,
Cuando tú no entiendes lo que es un compromiso de matrimonio,
then it is also very hard to understand the faithfulness to the Lord.
también es difícil entender la fidelidad a Jehová.
It took Abraham, a fair amount of time to understand this.
Le tomó bastante tiempo a Abraham entender la fidelidad.
Okay? But Abraham had a trust. Remember when Jehovah says,
Pero Abraham confió porque recordemos lo que Jehová le dijo.
in, I think it's either Bereshit 11 or Bereshit 12, where
Creo
God
que-
says, leave your father's house.
Creo que fue en el Génesis 11 o 12 que cuando le dijo, deja la casa de tu padre.
Okay? He had to trust the Lord.
Él simplemente lo que tenía que hacer era confiar en Jehová.
And did he make mistakes along the way? Yes.
¿Y será que él cometió errores en su caminar? Sí.
But finally in Bereshit 22, he learned how to be faithful.
Pero finalmente en Génesis 22 él aprendió a cómo ser fiel.
Now you need this information as you progress
Mientras
in the letter to the Galatians.
tú necesitas esta información mientras que vas progresando en la carta de Gálatas.
And if you don't have this information,
Y si tú no tienes esta información,
when he gets to, we're not under the condemnation of law, you don't understand what you're reading.
cuando lleguemos a la parte donde dice no estamos más bajo la condenación de la ley, tú no vas a entender lo que estás leyendo.
All right, let's go on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Let's go on to section number 4.
Vamos a la sección número 4.
I'm going to try to get at least through chapter 3 tonight,
Vamos a tratar de finalizar el capítulo 3 en esta noche,
because we don't want Liz to be bored.
porque no queremos que la hermana esté aburrida.
She's trying to hide behind her pocketbook. She's got like a grandmother pocketbook over there. Oh, it's a backpack. It's a millennial backpack. Okay. Not a grandma pocketbook, it's a backpack. It's going to be interesting for the millennial grandmothers. I don't have the giant. You always knew a grandmother by the size of her bag. Young women had these little purses, and as they got older, the purse got bigger. All right, verse 10 through 12.
Versículo del 10 al 12.
We're just going to keep messing with Elizabeth tonight. She won't come back. All right. For everyone who depends on legalistic observance of Torah commands lives under a curse. Since it is written, cursed is everyone who does not keep on doing everything written in the scroll of the Torah. Now it is evident that no one comes to be declared righteous by God through legalism, since the person who is righteous will attain life by trusting and being faithful. Furthermore, legalism is not based on trusting and being faithful, but on the misuse of the text that says anyone who does these things will attain life through them. Amen? So now we're getting into the deep stuff.
Ahora estamos llegando a la parte donde vamos a profundizar.
Okay, has anybody ever heard that we're under curse if we try to follow the Torah?
¿Alguien ha escuchado que estamos bajo una maldición cuando estamos tratando de seguir la Torah?
Okay, well, that person's an idiot who says that.
Quien sea que haya dicho esto es un idiota.
Because we just talked about Abraham.
Porque si, acabamos de hablar de Abraham.
In verse 8, he's talking about Abraham.
En el versículo 8 le está hablando de Abraham.
But now in verse 10, it seems like he's saying get rid of the Torah.
Pero aquí parece en el versículo 10 de que él está refiriéndose a que tienen que deshacerse de la Torah.
Well, then why am I talking about Abraham if I don't need the Torah and Abraham's in the Torah?
Ahora, ¿por qué estoy hablando de Abraham y si Abraham está en la Torah?
Okay, the heart of what we just read is verse 12.
El corazón de lo que estamos hablando es el versículo 12.
All right, so let's read verse 10 through 12 and then we'll read 12 twice.
Vamos a leer del versículo 10 al 12 y luego vamos a leer el capítulo 12 dos veces.
For everyone who depends on legalistic observance of Torah commands lives under a curse. Since it is written, cursed is everyone who does not keep on doing everything written in the scroll of the Torah. Now it is evident that no one comes to be declared righteous by God through legalism, since a person who is righteous will attain life by trusting and being faithful. Furthermore, legalism is not based on trusting and being faithful, but on the misuse of the text that anyone who does these things will attain life through them. Amen?
Amen.
So let's read verse 12 again.
Vamos a leer el versículo 12 nuevamente.
Furthermore, legalism is not based on trusting and being faithful, but on the misuse of the text that says anyone who does these things will attain life through them. Okay, in verse number 12,
En el versículo 12,
if you do the mitzvot,
si tú guardas los mandamientos,
but you hate doing the commandments,
pero tú odias hacerlos,
then you're under a curse.
entonces tú estás bajo de una maldición.
Let me say that again.
Déjame decirte esto nuevamente.
This is what he's saying.
Esto es de lo que él está hablando.
That if you do Shabbat, but you absolutely hate Shabbat,
Que si tú haces el Shabbat, pero totalmente tú lo odias.
you, by mistake, ate a Cuban sandwich one time. You ate pork.
Que por un momento comiste puerco.
And you're like, wow, this does taste good.
Y tú digas, wow, esto de verdad que sabe rico.
You know, you tasted pork bacon one time by accident, and you were like, wow, this is really good.
Que probaste la tocineta de jamón por accidente un día y tú dijiste, wow, esto de verdad que es sabroso.
And then after that, you hate keeping kosher, but you keep kosher.
Y después de esto tú odiaste guardar kosher, pero en realidad odias guardarlo.
Then you're under a curse
Entonces tú estás bajo de una maldición,
because you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
porque lo estás haciendo por las razones equivocadas.
It is good to do what God says to do.
Es bueno hacer lo que Jehová dice que hagan.
Okay, it is very good to do what God says to do.
Es muy bueno hacer lo que Jehová dice que hagan.
But if you're doing it because you have to instead of because you want to,
Pero si tú lo haces porque tienes que hacerlo en vez porque tú quieres hacerlo,
take this to marriage.
llevemos esto al matrimonio.
Okay, you got married, let's say you're 25 years old,
Digamos que tienes 25 años y te casaste.
and now you're 50,
Ahora tienes 50
and you really don't want to be around your spouse anymore.
y ya tú no quieres estar alrededor de tu esposo.
But you say we got to stay married because we got to stay married.
Entonces tú dirás, oh, yo me quedo casado o casada porque me tengo que quedar casado.
There was a song back in the 80s.
De vuelta en los 80s había una canción.
The album might have came out in, I think, 1979 called Bad Outta Hell.
El álbum tal vez salió en el 1979 y creo que se llamaba Bad Out of Hell,
Bad Out of Hell.
El Mal del Infierno.
And it's a band by the name of Meatloaf.
Es
I don't know
una,
how to translate it in
Meatloaf?
Spanish. Meatloaf.
es un grupo que se llama Meatloaf, torta de carne.
You don't got to get too into it.
Murciélago fuera del infierno.
Fat
Oh.
guy.
Oh, yo pensaba que era malo. Okay, bad. Okay. Is Rabbi talking about the animal, the bat or bat?
Bat. And a bat like an
Oh,
animal.
okay.
Not a bat like a baseball bat.
Okay. Oh, it's not as bad.
Okay.
Okay, es un murciélago que salió del infierno.
And in the song, the guy writes a story.
En esta canción el hombre escribe una historia.
Okay? The story goes like this.
La historia va de esta manera.
He was in a public school,
Él estaba en una escuela pública
and in the public school they teach you that you must fornicate.
y en la escuela pública te enseñan de que tú debes fornicar.
And he wanted to have sexual relations with this girl.
Y él quería tener relaciones sexuales con esta
But
chica.
she said she wouldn't unless he would marry her.
Y ella dijo que ella no lo haría hasta que él no se casara con
So
ella.
he said he would marry her.
Y él dijo sí, yo que él se casaría con ella.
So before marriage they had sexual relations.
Y antes del matrimonio ellos tuvieron relaciones sexuales.
But as the story goes in the song,
Pero como la historia sigue en la canción,
he couldn't stand his wife a few years later.
él no podía aguantarse o soportar a su esposa de unos años.
He says he'll never break his promise or forget his vow.
Él dijo, yo no me olvidaré de mi promesa o de guardar este voto,
But he wanted to get out of the relationship.
pero él quería salirse de esa relación.
It's the same with what Paul is talking about here in Galatians 3:12.
Eso es lo mismo de que Pablo está hablando aquí en Gálatas capítulo 3 versículo 12.
That if you're doing the laws because you fear God, that's good.
Pero si tú haces las leyes porque tú temes a Jehová, eso
But-
es bueno.
But God hears your thoughts.
Pero Jehová escucha tus pensamientos.
I hate spending Friday night with my family.
Yo odio pasar el sábado en la noche con mi familia.
All the parties are happening on Friday night.
Todas las fiestas están sucediendo el viernes en la noche.
Everybody's going to the bar on Friday night, and I'm stuck here.
Todos se van a la barra el viernes en la noche y yo estoy aquí estancado.
Everybody's going merengue dancing and salsa dancing, and they're going to the clubs, and I have to stay here for Shabbat.
Y todos se van de parranda a bailar merengue, salsa y yo me tengo que quedar aquí en Shabbat.
You come home, you do a Cuban shower, and then you take a rest, and you go out partying.
Entonces llega a la casa, te das un baño cubano y te vas de regreso a tu party.
So you're under a curse
Tú estás bajo una maldición
because God knows your thoughts.
porque Jehová conoce tus pensamientos.
Okay, so look at verse 12 again.
Veamos el versículo 12 nuevamente.
Furthermore, legalism is not based on trusting and being faithful, but on the misuse of the text that said anyone who does these things will attain life through them. Okay? So if you're doing laws,
Si estás observando las leyes,
but you hate doing them,
pero odias hacerlas,
you're not going to attain life in the next life.
tú no obtendrás vida en la próxima vida,
Because Jehovah does not want you in his house.
porque Jehová no te va a querer en su casa.
This is what Shaul is talking about.
De esto es que Rav Shaul se está refiriendo,
Because he's not saying get rid of the law in verse 10 through 12.
porque él no está diciendo que se deshagan de la ley en los versículos 10 al
Because
12,
in verse 8 he was talking about Abraham
porque en el versículo 8 él hablaba de Abraham
and being faithful.
y de ser fiel.
So once again, if you're married 25 years and you just can't stand being with one another anymore,
Si estás casado 25 años y no aguantas vivir con esa persona más,
every time you come home, you're going to I hate being here.
cada vez que llegas a casa vas a decir odio estar aquí.
It's like a curse.
Es como una maldición.
You're doing it because you made a vow,
Lo estás haciendo porque hiciste un voto
You made a promise,
Prometiste algo.
and you're going to keep your promise, but you can't wait till you die.
Vas a mantener esa promesa, pero no puedes esperar hasta morirte.
So that is what he's saying in verse 12.
Eso es lo que él está diciendo en el versículo 12.
Let's go on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Is everybody understanding?
¿Están entendiendo esto?
Okay. Now let's go back to verse number 10.
Vamos al versículo 10.
For everyone who depends on legalistic observance of Torah commands lives under a curse. Since it is written, cursed is anyone who does not keep on doing everything written in the scroll of the Torah. Okay, so now we're going to focus on the word legalistic.
Nos vamos a enfocar en la palabra legalista.
In some translations, it is the word works.
En algunas traducciones es la palabra trabajos, obras.
Okay, the word legalistic or works is G2041.
La palabra legalista u obras es el código G2041.
Okay, in definition number 1, it is business,
En la definición número 1 es negocios,
employment,
empleo,
that which anyone is occupied.
en lo que cualquiera o alguien está ocupado.
Number 2, that which one undertakes to do.
Número 2, aquel que toma para hacer.
Enterprise, like a business,
Un negocio
or undertaking,
o
like a job that you undertake to do.
un trabajo que tomas para hacer.
So if you depend on this legalistic observance of the Torah commands, verse number 10, versículo 10, for everyone who depends on legalistic observance of Torah commands lives under a curse, since it is written, cursed is anyone who does not keep doing what is written in the scroll of the Torah. So if you depend on this observance,
Si dependemos en esta observancia,
this employment,
este negocio, este trabajo, este empleo,
to get to heaven, you're forgetting about what Yeshua did.
The first part.
You're forgetting what Yeshua did.
Te estás olvidando lo que Yeshua hizo.
So you're not going to depend on it,
Entonces no vas a depender en él.
but what you're doing is it has to be your life.
Pero lo que estás haciendo tiene que convertirse en toda tu vida.
It has to be, something. Most people spend more time at work than they do at home.
Mucha gente pasa mucho más tiempo en los trabajos que en la casa.
Everybody in here is going, yeah.
Todos están de acuerdo.
Okay? So everything about you has to be, you got to like your job.
Todo acerca de eso de ti, por ejemplo, debe gustarte el empleo donde estás.
So our job is to worship the Lord 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Nuestro trabajo es adorar al Señor 24 horas al día, 7 días de la semana.
The word for worship is also the word for work.
La palabra para adorar también es la palabra para trabajo.
So we have to love doing our job for the Lord.
Tiene que ser un placer para nosotros o amar el trabajar para el Señor.
Now let's go on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Okay, verse number 10 again. Versículo
Versículo
10.
10.
Okay, for everyone who depends on legalistic observance of Torah commands lives under a curse. Since it is written, cursed is anyone who does not keep on doing everything that is written in the scroll of the Torah. Okay, so let's first look at the word curse.
Veamos a la palabra maldición.
Okay, it is G1944.
Es la palabra G1944.
Okay, it means accursed,
Significa una maldición,
exposed to divine vengeance,
expuesto a venganza divina,
lying under God's curse.
Estar bajo la maldición de Dios.
So here we got twice in verse number 10,
Tenemos 2 veces en el versículo 10,
the word curse is used.
la palabra maldición se utiliza.
So you're under a curse,
Estás bajo una una maldición.
And then this is the big one that a lot of people use.
Y esta es algo, una grande que la gente utiliza.
Cursed is everyone who does not keep doing everything written in the scroll of the Torah.
Maldito es aquel que no hace todo lo que está escrito en el rollo de la Torah.
Has everybody ever heard this one before?
¿Ha escuchado a alguien en esto alguna vez?
Okay, what he's talking about
Lo que él está hablando
is a heart issue.
es un problema en el corazón.
What do we mean by that?
¿Qué es lo que quiero decir con eso?
And how do you know he's talking about a heart
¿Y
issue?
cómo sabes que él está hablando acerca de un asunto del corazón?
Because the professor, Shaul,
Porque el maestro Shaul
was leading his students in this letter down a road.
estaba guiando a sus estudiantes en esta carta.
What do I mean?
¿Qué quiero decir?
In verse number 8, he talks about Abraham being faithful.
En el versículo 8 vemos que él habla acerca de Abraham y su fidelidad.
So your students must understand what Abraham's life consisted of.
Entonces tus estudiantes o sus estudiantes pudieron haber entendido de qué consistía la vida de Abraham.
So now in verse number 10,
En el versículo 10
he's talking about being cursed.
está hablando acerca de ser maldito.
What else happened in Abraham's life?
¿Qué más sucede en la vida de Abraham?
Remember, he was afraid of Pharaoh,
Recuerda que él tuvo miedo del faraón
and when they came to take his wife, he said she was his sister.
y cuando vinieron a tomar a su esposa, él dijo que ella era su hermana.
And then what happened in Pharaoh's house?
¿Y qué pasó en la casa del faraón?
There was a curse.
Hubo una maldición.
The women weren't having children.
Las mujeres no podían tener hijos.
If you don't know this,
Si no sabes esto,
you have no idea what he's talking about in verse 10.
no tienes ni idea de lo que está hablando él en el versículo 10.
And most congregations, even Messianic, don't do this in-depth Bible study.
Y en muchas congregaciones, incluso las mesiánicas, no hacen este tipo de estudios a profundidad.
And that's why the world in America is going into the toilet.
Y por eso es que el mundo y América se están yendo en el excusado.
That's why Venezuela is in the toilet.
Por eso es que Venezuela también está yéndose por el excusado.
They kicked God out of their country.
Ellos expulsaron a Dios fuera de su país.
Okay? That's just why England is going into the toilet, because they kicked God out of their country.
Por eso es que Inglaterra está yéndose por el excusado, porque también expulsaron a Dios del país.
And this is why America is going into the toilet, because we're kicking God out of our country.
Y por esta razón es que América también se está yendo por el excusado, porque están expulsando a Dios del país.
Did you see what those demonic senators did yesterday?
¿Vieron lo que los senadores satánicos hicieron ayer?
They voted 53 to 44
Votaron 53 en contra de 44
to not protect a child that survives an abortion. They're going to let the baby be murdered.
no proteger a un bebé que sobreviva a un aborto. Van a dejar que muera el bebé.
I think we should kill all those senators.
Yo creo que deberíamos matar a todos los senadores.
Well, and we'll just call it an abortion.
Y lo llamamos un aborto.
Just a little later.
Solo un aborto de
Because
tardío.
you're saying murder a child that can't protect himself. How about we do it to you?
Porque estás diciendo matar a un bebé que no puede protegerse. ¿Qué tal hacerlo contigo?
Okay?
Survive abortion so that we can kill them.
Yeah, you survived an abortion, so it's time to
We
kill
can
you.
kill them.
And if you want to arrest me, arrest me. Because if you kill me, I'll be happy.
Si me matas voy a estar feliz.
But don't worry, my dad is in charge.
Pero no te preocupes que mi papá está a cargo.
And we're going to raise up,
Y nos vamos a levantar.
called the Maccabee Revolt.
¿Va?
The Maccabee
Hola,
Revolt.
Maca-
Okay? But
Macabea.
why? See, every word in Galatians is chosen carefully.
Cada palabra que está en la carta de Gálatas fue escogida cuidadosamente.
Remember, he didn't text this, or put it up on his Twitter account.
Recuerda que él no mandó un mensaje de texto, lo puso en su cuenta de Twitter.
He had to think about what he was going to write, because of the matter of which he had to write it.
Él debía pensar acerca de lo que estaba escribiendo por el motivo de lo que estaba escribiendo.
Okay, so once you understand verse number 8,
Una vez que entiendes el versículo 8,
you can then understand what he's saying in verse number 10. And what is he saying?
puedes entender lo que dice en el versículo 10 y por qué razón lo está diciendo.
Let's look at verse number 10.
Veamos al versículo 10.
For everyone who depends on legalistic observance of Torah commands lives under a curse. Since it is written, curses anyone who does not keep on doing everything written in the scroll of the Torah. Why aren't you doing everything?
¿Por qué no estás observando todo?
Because you don't want to.
Porque no quieres.
You hate to do them.
Por eso odias hacerlo.
You know, you see many Jews that don't have beards, right?
Ves a muchos judíos que no tienen barbas.
A lot, because they don't want to do it.
Muchos porque no quieren hacerlo.
And then you see a lot of Orthodox who say they're not shaving if they use an electric razor.
Y ves a muchos ortodoxos diciendo que no se están afeitando si utilizan una afeitadora eléctrica.
You're cursed.
Estás maldecido.
You're trying to get around. Do you think God is stupid?
Estás tratando de engañar a Dios. ¿Crees que Él es estúpido?
But here it's the same thing that's been going on for 2,000 years.
Pero esta misma situación ha estado pasando por los últimos 2000
And this
años.
is what Shaul is trying to tell his students.
Y esto es lo que Rab Shaul está tratando de decir a sus
Or actually what
estudiantes.
he considers them in chapter 4, his children.
O como Él los considera en el capítulo 4, sus hijos.
So when you don't do everything that is written in the scroll of the Torah,
Entonces, si no haces lo que está en el rollo de la Torah,
are you enjoying that over there, Spanky? Yep, good. Okay. All right. So when you don't do it because you don't want to,
si no lo haces porque no quieres,
or you don't think you have to,
o crees que no debes hacerlo,
or you say, I don't see it that way,
o tú dices, yo no lo veo de esta manera,
then you're just trying to get around what God wrote.
entonces estás tratando solamente de darte las vueltas en lo que Dios escribió.
Is everybody seeing this?
Lo ven todos ustedes esto,
Because these are the verses that you're really going to need to understand.
porque estos son los versos que tú realmente vas a tener que comprender.
Because every Christian is going to try to destroy you on these verses.
Porque cada cristiano va a tratar de destruirte en cada uno de estos versos.
Because they'll go, well, see, if you break one law, you're under a curse.
Porque te van a decir, oh, mira, si tú quebrantas una ley, estás bajo maldición.
And nobody could keep the whole law,
Y nadie puede guardar toda la ley.
but it's the reason you're not trying to.
Es la razón por la razón que tú no estás tratando de observarla.
It's about parenthood,
Se trata acerca de educación de padre.
being a parent,
De ser un padre.
okay? Parents know when their children are trying and when they make a mistake.
Los padres saben cuando sus hijos están en verdad tratando y cuando cometen un error.
And parents know when their children are being disobedient.
Y los padres también saben cuando sus hijos están siendo desobedientes.
That's why Jehovah is called our Father.
Por eso es que Jehová nos llama se llama nuestro Padre.
Let's go on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Verse number 10 again.
Versículo número 10 otra vez.
For everyone who depends on legalistic observances of Torah commands lives under a curse. Since it's written, cursed is anyone who does not keep on doing everything written in the scroll of the Torah. Okay, so now we're looking at verse 10 again.
Ahora vamos a ver el versículo 10 otra vez.
What does Jehovah say about a curse, the curse?
¿Qué dice Jehová acerca de la maldición?
Because now we're looking at a better understanding of the word curse.
Porque ahora estamos teniendo un mejor entendimiento de la palabra maldecido.
Okay? Now hold your place in Galatians
Mantengan su lugar en Gálatas
and turn to Deuteronomy 27, verse 26.
y vámonos a Deuteronomio capítulo
7,
27,
versículo 26.
26.
27, 26.
Deuteronomio capítulo 27, versículo 26.
Deuteronomy 27, verse 26.
Deuteronomio capítulo 27, versículo 26.
Okay, so now we're talking about the curse.
Ahora vamos a hablar acerca de la maldición.
Everybody got it?
Lo tenemos.
A curse on anyone who does not confirm the words of this Torah by putting them into practice. All the people are to say, Amen. Okay? Let me read that again, verse 26, Deuteronomy 27, verse 26.
Leamos otra vez de Deuteronomio 26, versículo 27. Versículo 26, capítulo 27.
C.
Yes.
A curse on anyone who does not confirm the words of this Torah by putting them into practice. All the people are to say, Amen.
Amen.
Okay? So here, if you don't put the words of Torah into practice,
Aquí, si no ponemos las palabras de Torah en práctica,
you are under a curse.
estás bajo maldición.
Okay? This is what Shaul is talking about in Galatians 3, verse 10.
Esto es lo que Rab Shaul está hablando en Gálatas capítulo 3, versículo 10.
But if you don't understand that,
Pero si no entiendes eso,
then you don't understand the rest of the letter.
entonces no entiendes el resto de la carta.
Okay? So Jehovah said in verse 26,
Jehová dijo en el versículo 26,
a curse on anyone who doesn't confirm the Torah.
Maldito aquel que no sigue la Torah.
And how do you confirm the Torah?
¿Y cómo es que tú confirmas la Torah?
By applying the laws that are there.
Aplicando las leyes que están allí.
So here, this is why you get Sunday worship,
Aquí es donde tú obtienes la adoración del domingo,
which is straight up demonic.
que esto es satánico,
Okay.
completamente satánico.
Okay? And why is it demonic?
¿Y por qué es satánico?
Because it's breaking what God said from the mountain,
Porque está
breaking what
This-
Jehovah said from the mountain,
está rompiendo o destruyendo lo que Jehová dijo en la montaña.
okay? And what did he say from the mountain?
¿Qué es lo que dijo en la montaña?
He said, you got to keep this Shabbat holy.
Él dijo, tienes que observar el Shabbat como santo.
So if you don't confirm the words of the Torah,
Si no confirmas las palabras de la Torah,
then you're under a curse.
estás bajo maldición.
Now let's go back to Galatians chapter 3.
Ahora vámonos de vuelta a Gálatas capítulo 3.
You see how you can take apart the letter and then fully understand it?
¿Ves cómo puedes dividir la carta y entonces entenderla?
Elizabeth.
Rabbi, I just wanted to know if Shaul is calling these people, faithful. After, he presented Yeshua to them, now they trying to walk away with somebody else or whatever. And he's just calling them by giving these examples of Abraham. Is he calling them unfaithful for some reason?
Well, as you progress in the letter,
Mientras tú avanzas en la carta,
there's somebody else that's teaching,
hay alguien más que está enseñando.
okay? This is a baby congregation.
Esta es una congregación joven
You're going to see that it has a lot of Gentiles.
y vas a darte cuenta que tiene muchos gentiles.
And there's a fight between circumcision and uncircumcision.
Y hay una pelea entre circuncisión y no circuncisión.
The whole letter, that's its main focus, is circumcision.
El enfoque principal de esta carta es acerca de la circuncisión.
Okay? And you must be circumcised to get into heaven.
Y tú debes ser circuncidado para entrar al cielo.
Because if you're a man
Porque si eres un hombre
and you live more than 1 year after being saved,
y vives más de un año después de haber sido salvo,
Yeshua said you have to do the Pesach.
Yeshua dice que tú tienes que observar el Pesaj.
And you can't partake of the Pesach
Y no
as a
puede-
man
Y como hombre no puedes tomar parte del Pesaj
if you're uncircumcised.
si es que tú no estás circuncidado.
So if you don't want to be
Si
circumcised,
no quieres estar circuncidado,
then you're not confirming the Torah as it says in Deuteronomy 27, verse 26.
entonces no estás confirmando la Torah como dice en Deuteronomio 27, versículo 26.
So you're in open rebellion to Yeshua's command to celebrate the Pesach for him.
So, estás rebelándote en contra de lo que Yeshua dijo acerca del Pesaj.
People that are in open rebellion will not get into heaven because they are under a curse.
La gente que comete rebeldía no va a entrar al cielo porque están viviendo bajo una maldición.
And that's why you need Deuteronomy 27, verse 26.
Y por eso es que necesitas Deuteronomio 27, versículo 26.
Okay? Does that answer your question? All right. All right, let's go on to the next. Let's read Galatians 3, verse 10 again.
Leamos otra vez Gálatas capítulo 3, versículo 10.
For everyone who depends on legalistic observance of the Torah commands lives under a curse. Since it is written, cursed is anyone who does not keep on doing everything written in the scroll of the Torah. So here, now that we go back to Galatians 3,
Ahora de vuelta con Gálatas 3.
you now know what Shaul, Rav Shaul, Paul the emissary, is referencing to his students.
Ahora estás viendo lo que Rab Shaul está refiriéndose a sus estudiantes.
So he is confirming that we must keep the Torah.
Él está confirmando que debemos observar la Torah.
But most Gentiles can't put those two scriptures together.
Pero la mayoría de gentiles no pueden conectar esas dos escrituras.
So they're going to say we don't have to follow the law because it's a curse.
Entonces ellos dicen no tenemos que seguir la ley porque es una maldición.
No, it's a curse when you don't do it.
Es una maldición cuando no la cumples.
It is absolutely the opposite of what the Gentile church, pagan church, is teaching.
Es absolutamente lo contrario a lo que la iglesia cristiana pagana está enseñando.
Because they don't know how to read their Bibles.
Porque ellos no saben cómo leer sus Biblias.
He's absolutely confirming the Torah.
Él está absolutamente confirmando la Torah.
What'd you say, Elizabeth? I saw your mouth move. Uh-huh. You agree. Okay, let's. Yes, Adriana.
I have a question. I was looking when the letter was written, right here. So, why do you think this congregation started doing these things? You think it's because, probably, what I'm asking is like, are we assuming, but there's not such a thing, I know that, probably we don't assume. But maybe it was created due to the fact of the meeting that they have in Acts, and they say, do it this way, don't do it this way, in regards to
You mean the Acts 15 meeting?
the Acts 15. Do you think it started the confusion there and it spread it out? Because it says that this congregation, the word.
Well, in the Acts 15 reference,
La hermana Adriana lo que estaba preguntando es que si esta confusión de la gente comenzó desde la reunión que tuvieron en Hechos 15.
you can already see the gospel has been compromised.
Tú puedes ver que ya en Hechos 15 el evangelio ya ha sido cuestionado. No.
Yeah, it's been compromised, been questioned.
Amenazado, puesto en riesgo, sí.
And why do I say that?
¿Y por qué digo así?
Because Yeshua said in Matthew 28, verse 19,
Porque Yeshua dijo en Mateo 28, versículo 19,
go teach the Goyim everything I said.
ve a enseñar a todos los goim todo lo que yo he dicho.
And what did he say in Matthew 5, verse 18?
¿Y qué es lo que dijo en Mateo 5, 18?
Keep the Torah.
Observa la Torah o guárdala.
And how did they arrive at just not eating food sacrificed to idols?
¿Y cómo es que llegaron a solamente el hecho de comer carne que no es sacrificada a otros dioses?
Why don't they pick things like God calls an abomination,
¿Por qué no toman cosas como cuando dice que el Señor llama esto abominación?
like homosexuality,
Como la homosexualidad,
or women wearing men's clothing,
o la mujer vistiéndose con ropa de hombre,
or adultery?
o adulterio.
But here they chose things that are very flesh in orientation.
Ahora ellos escogieron cosas que eran orientados demasiado en la carne.
And how do you arrive at that decision when it clearly is not high on the list?
¿Y cómo llegas a esta conclusión si claramente no es algo de importancia en la lista?
It's not even part of the 10 words
No es ni siquiera parte de las 10 palabras
that Jehovah spoke from Har Sinai, the mountain of Sinai.
que Jehová habló desde Har Sinai.
But remember what Jehovah said before he flooded the earth,
Pero recuerda lo que Jehová dijo antes de inundar la tierra,
that in our hearts is continual evil.
que en nuestros corazones la maldad es continua.
Okay, and why is that important to know?
¿Y por qué esto es importante entender?
Because we want to make it easy.
Porque quieren hacerlo fácil.
That's why Matthew 7 is so important.
Por eso es que Mateo 7 es muy importante.
And that's what we talked about in this past Shabbat 3.5-hour lesson
Y
again.
por eso es que hablamos en el Shabbat pasado, en la lección de 3 horas y media.
Going through the narrow gate.
Pasando por el portón estrecho.
And the road is hard, says Yeshua.
Y la ruta es dura, dice Yeshua.
So here you see, curses anyone who does not keep doing everything written in the scroll of the Torah.
Aquí dice, maldito todo aquel que no permanece en todas las cosas escritas en el libro de la ley.
And nobody can keep the law.
Si nadie guardó la ley,
So that's what they must be talking about.
entonces de eso quizá deben estar hablando.
He says we don't have to keep the law.
Él dice, no tenemos que guardar la ley.
No, you idiots.
No, idiota.
He's actually saying the opposite of that.
Él está hablando lo opuesto de eso.
But this also brings up another point.
Pero eso también nos trae a otro nuevo punto.
This is why Kepha says
Por esta razón, Kefa dice
Paul's letters are hard to understand.
que las cartas de Pablo son muy difíciles de entender.
Because he's in this letter,
Porque en esta carta,
and sometimes even I do this.
y hay veces que yo también hago esto,
I feed the giraffes instead of feeding the sheep.
yo alimento a jirafas en lugar de alimentar corderos.
The giraffes, why do I say that? What does
Porque
that mean?
¿Qué quiero decir con eso?
What does it mean to feed the giraffes and not the
¿Qué
sheep?
significa alimentar jirafas en lugar de corderos?
And why do a lot of the Messianic rabbis do not teach the Midrash? They don't teach the Torah portions like I do.
¿Y por qué los otros rabinos mesiánicos no enseñan el Midrash o la Parashá como yo lo hago?
Because they like to feed the giraffes.
Porque les gusta alimentar a jirafas.
They like to get into the mysteries of the gematria.
Les gusta entrar o internarse en los misterios de la gematria.
That's why people love prophecy.
Por eso es que la gente ama la profecía.
Because it's interesting.
Porque es muy interesante.
It's intriguing.
Es intrigante.
It's prophecy.
Es profecía, tú sabes.
You know what's really important?
¿Sabes qué es muy importante?
Getting into heaven.
Entrar al cielo. Amén.
That's really the most important thing.
Eso es lo más importante.
And why are people starving in Venezuela?
¿Y por qué la gente se está muriendo de hambre en Venezuela?
Because they kicked God and His Torah out of their land.
Porque ellos expulsaron a Dios y a su Torah de la tierra.
Why is God calling His people home?
Porque Dios está llamando a su pueblo de vuelta a la casa.
You hear about the rabbi that got beat up in Argentina yesterday or 2
Oye,
days ago?
¿Escucharon acerca del rabino que lo golpearon en Argentina?
Why is this happening?
¿Por qué está pasando esto?
Because we're not following God's word.
Porque no estamos siguiendo la palabra de Dios.
So the Lord is getting ready to open up the fourth seal in the book of Revelation.
El Señor está preparándose para abrir el cuarto sello en el libro de Revelaciones.
Why?
¿Por qué?
Because we don't want to follow the Torah. We're under a curse.
Porque no queremos seguir la Torah y estamos bajo maldición.
But in verse number 10, Galatians 3 verse 10,
Pero en Gálatas capítulo 3 versículo 10
you have to have been a student of the Torah to understand what your rabbi was talking about.
tienes que tú haber sido un estudiante de la Torah para entender lo que tu rabino te estaba hablando.
Because this is a direct quote from Devarim 27 verse 26. He's quoting it.
Porque esto es una cita directa de Deuteronomio 27 versículo 26.
So let's read verse 10 again.
Leamos el versículo 10 otra vez.
For everyone who depends on legalistic observance of the Torah commands lives under a curse. Since it is written, curses anyone who does not keep on doing everything written in the scroll of the Torah. Okay? So he's directly quoting the Torah here in Deuteronomy.
Vemos que aquí él está citando directamente el libro de Deuteronomio, la Torah.
Let's go on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Anybody learning anything here tonight?
¿Están aprendiendo algo esta noche?
You learning how to witness to the Gentiles?
¿Están entendiendo cómo testificar a los gentiles?
Okay. Verse 10 and 11 now.
Versículos 10 y 11.
Rabbi, can you also bring it from to explain to somebody the term, I mean, the meaning of legalistic, and because they don't. A lot of people think, excuse me, the legal. Somehow they put together Torah with legalism. It's like they're not talking about that type, that Torah's legalism according to the context, the type of life they were living, what they were doing, traditions. So I think, I mean, I have found myself explaining to people that that's the type of legalism that stopped me here. Man-made doctrines and stuff.
Well, the CJB, we're talking about verse 10, the legalistic observance of Torah.
Estamos hablando acerca del versículo 10 de la observación legalista de la Torah.
Most other translations don't have that word.
En la completa Biblia judía y en otras traducciones no tienen esa palabra.
So you have to focus on what they're going to see in their translation.
Tienes que enfocarte en lo que van a mirar en sus traducciones.
So you have to focus on the word cursed.
Tienes que enfocarte en la palabra maldito.
Now he is talking, in the CJB we do add the Talmudic understanding.
En la completa Biblia judía adherimos el...
That's a good music for this verse.
Can you repeat that again, please, Rabbi?
Okay? The question was about legalistic observance of Torah commands that the CJB has.
La pregunta fue acerca de la observancia legalista de la Torah, de lo que tiene la completa Biblia judía.
Okay? So that would be the Talmud,
Este sería el Talmud,
saying that they added 500 new Shabbat laws.
diciendo que adhirieron 50 nuevas leyes de Shabbat.
Okay? So you have to wash your hands this way.
Entonces, decir que tienes que lavarte las manos de cierta manera,
That Yeshua talked about tradition.
que Yeshua habló acerca de la tradición.
Okay? So that's what the CJB adds to this letter of Galatians.
En esta parte es cuando la completa Biblia judía adhiere a esta carta de Gálatas.
Okay? That if you don't do it this way.
Que si no lo haces de esta manera.
Okay? Now, Jehovah does say about an offering how the animal needs to look.
Ahora, Jehová habla de, por ejemplo, una ofrenda, de cómo debe, las características que debe tener.
But the rabbis get into a whole halakha.
Los rabinos se hablan acerca de una halajá completa
That is not found in the Torah.
que no se encuentra en la Torah.
And it's their opinion.
Y es la opinión de ellos.
Okay? So that's what legalistic observance is of the Torah commands.
Eso es la observación legalista de lo que manda la Torah.
A simple understanding would be lighting the candles 18 minutes before sundown.
Un entendimiento simple sería el prender velas antes de que caiga el sol en Shabbat.
First of all, I don't see candles on Shabbat.
Primero que nada, yo no veo velas en Shabbat.
And where did you come up with 18 minutes instead of 17?
¿Y por qué no? ¿De dónde sacaste 18 minutos en lugar de 17?
Or 10?
O 10 minutos.
And where did you get into the thing of hiring Gentiles to turn on your heat when the Gentile is supposed to also be celebrating Shabbat?
¿Y de dónde sacaste ese entendimiento de contratar gentiles para que prendan tu calefacción, sabiendo que los gentiles también tienen que celebrar Shabbat?
Now let's look at verse 10 and 11.
Veamos los versículos 10 y 11.
Now, for everyone who depends on legalistic observance of Torah commands lives under a curse. Since it is written, curses anyone who does not keep doing everything written in the scroll of the Torah. Now it is evident that no one comes to be declared righteous by God through legalism, since a person who is righteous will attain life by trusting and being faithful. Okay. Now we're going to go a little deeper.
Ahora nos vamos a profundizar un poco más.
In verse 11, we're now talking about legalism again.
En el verso 11 estamos hablando otra vez de legalismo.
Okay, in verse 11, we're looking at that no one is justified by the law before God is evident.
Ahora estamos mirando el versículo 11 que nadie es justificado ante Dios por la ley, es evidente.
Now, in verse 11,
En el versículo 11,
okay, in the New American Standard Bible,
en
NASB,
NASB, en la Biblia estándar,
it says, the righteous man shall live by faith.
dice que el justo vivirá por la fe.
What is faith?
¿Qué es fe?
Following divine things.
Seguir cosas divinas.
We went over that last week.
Eso vimos la semana pasada.
A divine relationship with Jehovah.
Una relación divina con Jehová.
So you're going to live by faith.
Entonces vas a vivir por la fe.
You got to attain life by trusting and being faithful.
Tienes que creer y ser fiel.
So if you're not keeping the Shabbat holy, you are not faithful.
Entonces, si tú no estás observando el Shabbat, guardándole como santo, no estás siendo fiel.
A righteous man shall live and be faithful.
Un hombre justo tiene que vivir fielmente.
And most of the Christian body doesn't understand about faithfulness,
Y la mayoría del cuerpo cristiano no entiende la fidelidad.
as evident by their amount of divorces in the Christian church.
Y es evidente de acuerdo a al número de divorcios que existen en la iglesia cristiana,
Which is higher than the national average.
que es muy alta en comparación del número nacional.
Okay? So faithfulness comes by keeping your vows to your spouse,
Fidelidad es mantener tus votos que hiciste a tu cónyuge.
faithfulness comes by keeping your vows to God.
La fidelidad es mantener los votos que le hiciste a Dios.
You cannot worship God the way you want.
No puedes adorar a Dios de la manera que tú
You have
deseas.
to worship God the way He wants.
Tienes que adorarle a Dios de la manera que Él desea.
And that's why we were talking about the offerings a moment ago.
Y por eso es que estábamos hablando acerca de las ofrendas hace un poco.
You can't offer God a dog
No puedes ofrecerle a Dios un perro
or pig.
o un cerdo.
You must offer what God desires from His Word.
Tienes que ofrecerle lo que Dios desea en su palabra.
So this is look at verse 11.
Veamos al versículo 11.
Now it is evident that no one comes to be declared righteous by God through legalism, since a person who is righteous will attain life by trusting and being faithful. Let's take it back to Abraham that we referenced in verse 8.
Veamos otra vez a la referencia de Abraham en el versículo 8.
When was Abraham declared righteous?
¿Cuándo fue Abraham declarado justo?
When he finally offered up Yitzhak on the altar.
Cuando finalmente él ofreció a Yitzhak en el altar.
Because then Jehovah says, now I know that you will do what I tell you.
Porque ahí es donde Jehová dice, ahora sé que tú vas a hacer lo que yo te diga.
So here what Shaul is pointing out in verse 11,
Lo que Rav Shaul está señalando aquí en el versículo 11.
did Abraham really break any of the laws?
¿Abraham rompió alguna de las leyes?
Well, Sarah was his sister,
Bueno, Sarah era su hermana,
half sister.
su media hermana.
He really didn't lie. He didn't tell the whole truth,
Él no mintió, pero no dijo la verdad completa.
because you're not really supposed to have sex with your sister,
Porque se supone que no debes tener sexo con tu hermana
your whole sister.
o tu hermana biológica.
So here, the Pharaoh says, why did you tell me this was your wife?
Y el faraón le dice a Abraham, ¿por qué no me dijiste que era tu esposa?
Well, he didn't really lie to him.
Realmente no le mintió a él.
Okay, so he's not going to be declared righteous through the legalism.
Él no va a ser declarado justo por el legalismo.
He's going to be declared righteous by being faithful to what God says.
Él fue declarado justo por ser fiel a lo que Dios le dijo.
But you don't understand this
Pero tú no entiendes eso
unless you understand verse 8.
a no ser que entiendas el versículo 8.
And the reference that we went through before with the curse.
Y la referencia que acabamos de ver cuando vimos en la maldición.
And this is what most religious leaders don't teach.
Y eso es lo que muchos líderes religiosos nos enseñan.
That's why this PowerPoint is going to be like 250 slides, and
Por
that's
eso-
okay.
Por eso es que esta presentación va a tener 250 diapositivas y está bien.
This is what we need to teach our children.
Esto es lo que necesitamos enseñar a nuestros hijos.
Because the Satanists are teaching their children
Porque los satanistas están enseñando a sus niños
their rules.
las reglas de
The
ellos.
liberals are teaching their children their rules.
Los liberales están enseñando a sus hijos sus reglas.
The left and the Democrats are teaching their rules.
Los izquierdistas y los demócratas les están enseñando sus reglas,
But we're not teaching our children our rules.
pero no les estamos enseñando a nuestros hijos
And we
nuestras reglas.
outnumber those people.
Y nosotros somos más que esa gente.
But the church follows Galatians.
Pero la iglesia sigue Gálatas,
But they don't understand that they're the ones under the curse.
pero no entienden que ellos son los que están bajo maldición,
Because they don't understand what Rabbi Shaul, Paul the emissary, is writing.
porque ellos no entienden lo que el rabino Shaul o Pablo el emisario está diciendo.
Let's go to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente
Everybody
diapositiva.
learning something here?
¿Están aprendiendo algo aquí?
Thank you for your work you did today, Betsy. It was very beautiful over there. I couldn't find anything. Betsy was here cleaning and I was looking in the Oneg area. I'm like, where did everything go? All right. Verse 11.
Versículo 11.
Now it is evident that no one comes to be declared righteous by God through legalism, since the person who is righteous will attain life by trusting and being faithful. Okay? So now we're looking at the word declared righteous.
Ahora vamos a ver a la palabra declarado justo.
In some translations, it's the word justified.
En algunas traducciones es justificado.
You're not going to be declared righteous or justified.
No vas a ser declarado justo o justificado.
This is G1344.
Esta es la palabra G1344.
Number 1, to render righteous or such be ought to be.
Número 1,
Just to be rendered righteous. The
el
English is
hacer
not.
justo, convertir en justo o algo así.
Number 2, to
Número dos.
show,
Para mostrar,
exhibit.
exhibir.
I think it's supposed to be evidence. I think I typed it wrong. One to be righteous,
Uno que quiere ser justo,
such as he and wishes himself to be considered.
así como uno desea considerarse justo.
Okay, so you're not going to be declared righteous
No vas a ser declarado justo
or justified,
o justificar
okay, through your legalism.
por medio del legalismo.
You're going to be declared righteous
Tú vas a ser declarado justo
through your faithfulness,
por medio de tu fidelidad,
which really is the same thing.
que realmente es lo mismo.
Is everybody seeing that?
¿Está mirando esto?
Yes, Elizabeth? You don't want to play chess today? Okay. All right, so it's really actually he's saying the same thing.
Realmente está diciendo lo mismo.
Because, well, the minor difference is this.
Porque la diferencia pequeña es esta.
If you're doing it because you have to do it,
Si lo estás haciendo porque debes hacerlo,
then you're
quieres
not going to be declared righteous.
si tienes que hacerlo porque debes hacerlo por obligación, entonces no serás declarado justo.
But if you're doing it because you're faithful,
Pero si lo estás haciendo porque eres fiel,
because you love Jehovah,
porque amas a Jehová,
then you're going to be declared righteous.
entonces serás declarado justo.
Okay? Is everybody seeing that, how that gets put together?
¿Entiendes cómo esto se pone junto?
Because you need the definition of righteousness.
Porque necesitas la definición de justicia o justificado.
Okay? To exhibit,
Justicia.
okay, what does one exhibit?
¿Qué es exhibir?
Okay? That you're a God-fearer.
Estás evidenciando que temes a Dios.
Those 53 senators yesterday showed that they don't fear God.
Esos 53 senadores mostraron que ellos no temen a Dios.
But they, on their forms, said that they're Christian.
pero en sus formas ellos dicen que son cristianos.
Most of the senators, when we started this new government this year,
La mayoría de senadores cuando comenzamos este nuevo gobierno este año,
they had more people saying that they were Christian than ever before.
había mucha más gente que decían que eran cristianos que
Then
nunca.
how did 53 of them say murder the child?
¿Y por qué 53 de ellos dicen que deben matar a los niños?
Okay, so they're not going to be declared righteous.
Entonces no van a ser declarados justos,
Okay, because they're faking. They have a title, but it doesn't mean anything.
porque están siendo falsos, tienen un título, pero no significa nada.
Okay, so it's the same with what is going on here.
Es lo mismo con lo que está sucediendo aquí.
He's telling his children in Galatia
Él está diciendo a sus hijos en Galacia
that to show that you're doing the Torah,
mostrar que están cumpliendo la Torah,
but you're not being faithful to the commandments of God.
pero no está siendo fiel a los mandamientos
You're
de Dios.
choosing what you want to do instead of doing everything that you're required to do.
Estás escogiendo lo que tú quieres hacer en lugar de hacer todo lo que es requerido.
Let's go on to the next slide.
Siguiente diapositiva.
Verse 11 again.
Versículo 11 otra vez.
Now it is evident that no one comes to be declared righteous by God through legalism, since a person who is righteous will attain life by trusting and being faithful. Let's see what trusting means.
¿Qué significa confiar?
Trusting, in some translations have the word live.
En confiar, en algunas traducciones tienen vivir.
Okay, which is G2198,
La palabra es G2198.
and it means to live,
Significa para vivir,
breathe.
respirar.
Number 2, to have true life
Número 2, tener vida verdadera.
and worthy of the name.
Y que vale la pena del nombre. Digno. Thank you.
Number 3, to live
Número 3, vivir
in a manner of living and acting.
en una manera de vivir y comportarse.
Number 4, of mortals or character.
Número 4, de mortales o carácter.
All right, so let's read verse 11 again.
Leamos el versículo 11 otra vez.
Now it's evident that no one comes to be declared righteous by God through legalism, since a person who is righteous will attain life by trusting and being faithful. Okay? By living a certain type of lifestyle.
Viviendo cierto tipo de estilo de vida.
Then you are being faithful.
Entonces tú estás siendo fiel.
So if you're a homosexual, that is not a proper lifestyle.
Si eres homosexual, entonces ese no es un estilo de vida apropiado.
If you do not want to follow the Torah
Si no quieres seguir la Torah
and the way it commands you to live your life,
de la manera que te ordena a vivir tu vida,
then you are not being faithful.
entonces no estás siendo fiel.
Character, what is character?
¿Qué es carácter?
Okay, what does character mean?
¿Qué significa carácter?
It's a way of that you carry yourself.
Es la manera en que tú llevas tu persona.
Do you act all nice and proper at congregation?
Actúas muy propio y bien en la
Like we
congregación.
used to have congregant members that would act one way here,
Como habían congregantes que actuaban de una manera aquí
and then at work use profanity all the time.
y en el trabajo pues hablaban malas palabras todo el tiempo.
Then they were not trusting and living according to God.
Entonces no estaban confiando en vivir de acuerdo a Dios.
Or if you cover your head here because you're a married woman, but you don't cover your head outside
O si
of
te-
here,
O si te cubres la cabeza porque eres una mujer casada en la congregación, pero no afuera,
then you don't have good character.
entonces no tienes un buen carácter.
And God knows what you're doing.
Y Dios sabe lo que estás haciendo.
But, I do it because it's going to congregation.
Pero lo hago porque estoy en la congregación.
I have to act a certain way at congregation.
Tengo que actuar de cierta manera en la
But
congregación.
as soon as I leave congregation, I go right back into being a pagan.
Pero tan pronto dejo la congregación, regreso otra vez a mi vida pagana.
So verse 11 again.
Versículo 11.
Now it is evident that no one comes to be declared righteous by God through legalism, since a person who is righteous will attain life by trusting and being faithful, by a way that you live your life.
La manera que vives tu vida.
Okay? So you can attend Shabbat all you want.
Puedes, asistir al Shabbat todo cuanto tiempo quieras.
But the other 6 days a week, you're acting like a pagan.
Pero si los otros 6 días estás actuando como un pagano,
That's Catholic.
eso es católico.
You just go and you do your time at the Catholic Church.
Vas y cumples con tu tiempo en la iglesia católica.
You go to confession,
Vas a confesarte.
and the guy in the little box says, say 5 Hail Marys.
Y el hombre en la cajita dice que reces 5 Santa Marías.
Okay, and play with your juju beads or whatever those bead things are called.
Y juegues con el rosario.
Okay, but the rest of the week,
Pero el resto de la semana
you're living like a pagan.
estás viviendo como un pagano.
This is what he's talking about to his children in Galatia.
Esto es lo que él está hablando en Gálatas.
So you see what he's really trying to write?
Ves realmente lo que él está tratando de escribir.
But you have to read this slowly.
Pero tienes que leerlo lentamente.
You have to understand what the writer is, the meaning of the words he's writing.
Tienes que entender el significado de las palabras que él está escribiendo.
That's what most people don't understand.
Eso es lo que la mayoría de gente no entiende.
It's like, it's even in our translation,
Incluso en esas traducciones.
okay? If you use a lower form of Spanish,
Si utilizas una forma muy simple del español,
like a common form of the language,
como una forma común del lenguaje,
then everybody will understand what you're saying.
entonces todos entenderán lo que estás diciendo.
If you use college level,
Si utilizas un lenguaje de nivel universitario,
most people are not going to understand what you're saying
la mayoría de gente no va a entender lo que tú estás diciendo,
because they don't know the definition of the word.
porque no saben la definición de la palabra.
And I know that with the children.
Y yo sé eso con los niños.
I'll ask a kid, well, what does that mean?
Le pregunto a un niño qué significa eso.
And you're trying to teach the kid, and you're like, you got to tell them what the definition is.
Tratas de enseñarles a los niños, pero tienes que decirles cuál es la
It's the
definición.
same with adults.
Lo mismo con los adultos.
You know, if you're reading the Bible, you're reading like the Reina Valera, which uses old Spanish.
Si estás utilizando Reina Valera, que utiliza el español antiguo, el castellano,
And you don't know what that word means,
tú no sabes lo que es esa palabra.
you're going to miss what what God is trying to tell you.
No vas a poder entender lo que el Señor te está tratando de decir.
The same here.
Lo mismo aquí.
This is plain language, but you don't understand what it means.
Este es un lenguaje muy simple, pero no entiendes lo que
And this
significa.
is what Shaul is trying to tell us.
Y eso es lo que Rab Shaul está tratando de decirnos.
And this is why the church gets totally off the wrong track.
Y esto es por esta razón es que la iglesia se sale del camino.
Because they don't understand what trusting or live means in the Greek.
Porque no entienden lo que es confiar o vivir en el griego.
It's a matter of living your life.
Es un asunto de cómo vivir tu vida.
Well, we had Judaism
Tenemos el judaísmo
and paganism.
y el paganismo.
You didn't have Christianity yet.
No tenías
The
la
Catholic
cristiandad.
Church has not been born.
La iglesia católica aún no nacía.
That church doesn't begin until the year 315.
Esa iglesia no comienza ni sino hasta el año 315.
So here, Shaul is trying to teach these people how to live their life like Abraham.
Aquí Rab Shaul les está tratando de enseñar a esta gente cómo vivir su vida como Abraham.
Next slide.
Siguiente diapositiva.
Any questions?
¿Alguna pregunta?
Martin, how you doing?
Here.
Well, all right. Praise God. You got any questions there, Marty?
No, Rabbi, everything's good.
Did you teach Galatians like this when you were teaching in that Christian church?
Not that deep.
Uh-huh. All right. Let's go on to verse 11 again.
Vamos al versículo 11.
Now it is evident that no one comes to be declared righteous by God through legalism. The person who is righteous will attain life by trusting and being faithful. Okay? Now, what does he say there?
¿Qué es lo que él está diciendo allí?
What? It's very important.
Es muy importante.
You're going to attain life by what?
Vas a obtener vida cuando haces qué?
By trusting.
Confiando, cuando confías.
Trusting what?
¿Confiar en qué?
what are we supposed to trust in?
¿En qué debemos confiar?
Trusting what some man's word is?
¿Confiar lo que la palabra de un hombre es?
Or do we trust in the Torah?
¿O confiamos en lo que dice la Torah?
Because that is Jehovah's perfect word.
Porque esa es la palabra perfecta de Jehová.
Once again, the New Testament is not written.
Una vez más, el Nuevo Testamento no está escrito.
The Romans were not reading the letter to the Galatians because only the Galatians had the letter.
Los romanos no están leyendo el libro, la carta de Gálatas porque los Gálatas son los únicos que tienen la carta.
So what are they reading every single Shabbat?
¿Qué están leyendo cada Shabbat?
Because remember, Shaul and Barnabas went and the whole town came
Recuerda
in the book of
cuando
Acts?
Raúl y Barnabas fueron, Shaul y Barnabas fueron
Raúl?
a
I
ese
didn't know
pueblo.
him.
Raúl.
That was his Spanish name, Raúl.
Raúl. It's a mix between Rabbi and
Raúl.
Rabbi and Shaul and Paul.
The Spanish people, who's Raúl?
Who's Raúl? Pablo y Barnabas fueron a esta ciudad.
Remember they got to witness on the Shabbat?
Recuerda que ellos pudieron testificar, evangelizar en Shabbat.
And then the people said, when can we hear this again? And he goes, next Shabbat.
Y ellos les preguntaron cuándo podemos escuchar esto y dijeron el próximo
Okay.
Shabbat.
So here you attain life by trusting God's word.
Tú obtienes vida cuando confías en la palabra de Dios.
Rabbi, there is a documentary they show on Netflix about the life of the disciples after Yeshua died, but the documentary is Christian, but they talk about keeping the Shabbat. It's like, even people don't realize that, it's in the documentaries, it's history. The disciples keep the Shabbat.
That's correct. The disciples
It's
kept the
like,
Shabbat.
It's still, it is a Christian movie, it's a Christian documentary.
Right. They're following their traditions
Están siguiendo sus tradiciones
instead of following Yeshua.
en lugar de seguir a Yeshua.
So here Shaul is saying you're going to be declared righteous and you're going to attain life by what?
El Rav Shaul está diciendo aquí que serás justificado y obtendrás vida haciendo qué?
By trusting.
Cuando tienes fe.
What are you going to trust in?
¿En qué vas a confiar?
Since the Gospels are not even written at this
Porque
point.
los evangelios no están escritos en este punto.
You got to trust in what everybody was reading every single Shabbat, the Old Testament.
Tienes que confiar en lo que todos estaban leyendo cada Shabbat y era el Antiguo
Now, don't
Testamento.
get me wrong. We trust in the Gospels and what Yeshua said.
Okay, no malentiendas porque nosotros confiamos en los evangelios
We
y lo que
tru-
dijo Yeshua.
We trust in the full Bible,
Como nosotros confiamos en la Biblia completa.
but we're reading Galatians.
Pero estamos leyendo Gálatas.
And you're going to be attain life by trusting what?
¿Y va a ser obtenido confiando en qué?
Well, I'm going to trust in Yeshua. I'm going to trust in Jesus.
Voy a confiar en Jesús, en Yeshua.
Well, what did he trust in?
¿Y en qué él confió?
Oh, he read, a lot from the Old Testament.
Él leyó mucho acerca del Antiguo Testamento.
He quoted the Shema.
Él citó el Shema.
He quoted, the commandments.
Él citó los mandamientos.
So I'm going to trust in what Yeshua trusted in.
Entonces voy a confiar en lo que Yeshua confió.
Then it also says in verse 11, and being faithful.
Y también dice en el versículo 11, en ser fiel.
Okay? Now what was faithful again?
¿Qué es fiel otra vez?
We did this last week.
Vimos esto la semana pasada.
Faithfulness is a conviction or belief respecting man's relationship to God and divine things at the bottom.
La fidelidad es la convicción. It's
Belief
the last lines, right?
Yeah, the last one.
Yeah. La fidelidad es la convicción o la creencia respetando la relación del hombre con Dios y las cosas divinas.
How will I know what divine things are?
¿Cómo yo sé cuáles son las cosas divinas?
Well, let's start with the Shabbat and the 7 holy days.
Entonces comencemos con Shabbat y los 7 días santos.
These are divine things, and Jehovah says in Leviticus 23, do them forever.
Esto es las cosas divinas que Jehová ordenó a cumplir en Levíticos 23.
No matter where you live.
No importa dónde vivas.
And I know some idiots don't understand that
Y yo sé que muchos idiotas no entienden eso.
because, it just says it about this. No, he's talking about the group
of the holy days.
Porque dice solamente habla de esto, pero no está hablando del grupo de los días
He
santos.
doesn't have to keep being redundant unless you're too stupid to understand that.
Él no tiene que seguir siendo redundante a no ser que tú no puedas entender porque eres muy
You
estúpido.
know, a parent understands that he says a few things and do this no matter where you live.
Él lo dice algunas cosas, dice, repeat that again, please.
He says, a parent understands
Un padre entiende
that he says a group of things
que dice un grupo de cosas
and then says, do this forever no matter where you live.
y después dice, haz esto por siempre, no importa dónde vives.
So he says that for the spring holy days.
No dice esto por los días santos de
He says
primavera,
it for the summer holy day.
lo dice para los días
And he
santos
says
de
it for the
verano,
fall holy days.
y lo dice para los
He
días
doesn't have to
santos
say
de,
it for
verano,
each holy day.
de otoño, no dice para todos los, sorry,
Okay. Okay? He doesn't have to say it for each holy day.
no tiene que decirlo para cada día santo,
He says it as a group.
lo dice como un grupo.
Okay? Everybody understand that?
¿Entienden todos esto?
All right, let's move on to the next slide. Go on to verse number 12.
Vamos al versículo 12.
We're going to finish chapter 3 at least today.
Vamos a terminar el capítulo 3 hoy.
You see how much information, when you slow down, there is that you have to understand?
¿Ves cuánta información hay disponible cuando tú te detienes y lees despacio?
So popcorn could be deadly. Verse number 12.
Versículo 12.
Furthermore, legalism is not based on trusting and being faithful, but on the misuse of the text that says anyone who does these things will attain life through them. Okay? Now here in verse 12,
En el versículo 12.
the law is not of faith.
La ley no es de la fe.
On the contrary,
Al contrario,
the one who lives and practices them shall live by them.
el que las hace vivirá por ellas.
It's a heart issue, he's saying in verse
Es
12.
un asunto del corazón, está diciendo en el versículo
You have
12.
to, Abraham trusted and it was credited to him as faithfulness.
Abraham confió y se le fue acreditado como fidelidad.
Okay? So, do you trust that your child loves you?
¿Confías en que tu hijo te ama?
You know the child loves you.
Tú sabes que tu hijo te ama. I wasn't eating popcorn.
I'm going to stop making popcorn. Everybody's choking on it.
I didn't eat popcorn yet.
Okay?
It's a curse.
Okay? If you have a real godly marriage,
Si no tienes un verdadero matrimonio santo de Dios,
and what's a real godly marriage? What's a real godly marriage?
¿qué es un verdadero matrimonio santo?
A marriage that was done under a huppah.
Un matrimonio que fue realizado bajo la jupa.
Now, why can I say that?
¿Por qué digo esto?
What is the question? Why you say that?
I can't think. The guy's back. I feel like I'm on a merry-go-round. I feel like I'm on a horse. I want to go get one of those gigantic, it's a mariachi music. It's the same guy that was, he's not even in the same zip code as the note. Okay. So going back to this,
Regresemos al estudio
in marriage,
y el matrimonio.
okay, see, once you understand God's laws,
Una vez que entiendes las leyes de Dios
and that if you break a vow,
y que si rompes un voto,
okay, then you're going to hell because Yeshua says in Revelation
entonces irás al infierno porque Yeshua dijo en Apocalipsis
that liars are going to hell.
que los mentirosos van a ir al infierno.
Now, that's not taught in the Christian church.
Eso no se enseña en la iglesia cristiana.
Okay, it's not taught about vows that you cannot break a vow
Eso no enseñan que no puedes quebrantar un voto
because we live under grace.
porque vivimos bajo la gracia.
So when you get married under a huppah,
Entonces cuando te casas bajo la jupa,
that means you're getting married under God's covenant rules.
Significa que te vas a casar bajo el pacto de las reglas de Dios.
And you're going to keep your marriage vows.
Y vas a mantener y observar los votos
So
matrimoniales.
in verse 12,
En el versículo 12,
once again we come back, he's talking about a heart issue.
una vez más vemos que él está hablando acerca de un asunto del corazón.
Look at verse 12.
Versículo 12.
Furthermore, legalism is not based on trusting and being faithful, but on the misuse of the text that says, anyone who does these things will attain life through them. You need Yeshua to get into heaven,
Necesitas a Yeshua para entrar al cielo,
but you got to walk like he did.
pero debes caminar así como él caminó.
So that would be faithful to God's commandments.
Entonces eso es ser fiel a los mandamientos de Dios.
And if you're just following God's commandments, but you hate them,
Y si estás siguiendo los mandamientos de Dios, pero los odias,
what are you living by?
¿para qué estás viviendo?
So as soon as you can get away from them, you do.
Haz una,
As soon as you get away from God's laws, you do.
tan pronto te puedes alejar de las leyes de Dios, lo haces.
Now, that could even be in your own minds.
Eso mismo puede ser en tu propia vida.
Okay? So here, people were saying,
Aquí la gente estaba
this
diciendo,
is what verse 12 really has a point.
aquí es realmente donde el versículo 12 hace un punto,
That if you do these commandments,
Que
you're going to
si-
get into heaven.
que si cumples estos mandamientos entrarás al cielo.
But Yeshua said, nobody gets into heaven except through me.
Pero Yeshua dice, nadie entra al cielo excepto que por mí.
Going on to the next slide.
Siguiente diapositiva.
Verse 13 and 14.
Versículos 13 y 14.
We're on to section number 5 now.
Estamos en la sección número 5 ahora.
In your notes, we're on section 5, verse 13 and 14.
En sus notas es la sección número 5, versículos 13
Y-
y 14.
These are very important verses.
Estos dos versos son muy importantes.
The Messiah redeemed us from the curse pronounced in Torah by becoming cursed on our behalf. For the Tanakh says, everyone who hangs from a stake or a cross comes under a curse. Yeshua the Messiah did this so that in union with him, the Gentiles might receive the blessing announced to Abraham. So that through trusting and being faithful, we might receive what was promised, namely the Spirit. Okay, these are very important verses
Estos dos versos son muy importantes
because the Gentiles are going to use this to say, we don't have to follow the law of God.
porque los gentiles van a decir que no debemos seguir las leyes de Dios.
Okay, because they see the beginning of verse 13
Porque miran el comienzo del versículo 13
and they say, see, Messiah redeemed us from the curse.
y van a decir, ves, el Mesías nos redimió de la maldición.
Once again, you don't understand the rabbi who's writing the letter.
Una vez más no estás entendiendo al rabino que está escribiendo esta carta.
Okay, so here in verse 13,
Aquí en el versículo 13
they say, Christ redeemed us from the curse of the law.
dice que Cristo nos redimió de la maldición de la ley.
That's why we are free from the law.
Por eso estamos libres de la ley.
Has anybody ever heard this?
¿Han escuchado eso?
Anybody ever heard this?
¿Ha escuchado alguien eso?
Okay.
Yes, amen.
How did he redeem us?
¿Cómo es que nos redimió?
What curse did he redeem us from?
¿De qué maldición él nos redimió?
Hold your place in Deuteronomy. Hold your place in Galatians and turn to Devarim 21.
Mantengan el lugar en Gálatas 3 y vamos a Deuteronomio 21.
Turn to Deuteronomy 21, Devarim 21.
Deuteronomio 21.
How did he become a curse for us?
¿Cómo es que él se convirtió en maldición para nosotros?
This
por
is a
nosotros?
two-step process that we're going
Este
to
es
do.
un proceso de 2 pasos.
Deuteronomy 21,
Deuteronomio 21,
verse 22 and 23.
versículo 22 y 23.
How did he become a curse for us?
¿Cómo es que él se convirtió en una maldición por nosotros?
Deuteronomy 21, verse 22 and 23.
Deuteronomio 21, 22 y 23.
If someone has committed a capital crime and is put to death and hung on a tree, his body is not to remain all night on the tree, but you must bury him in the same day, because a person has been hanged has been cursed by God, so that you will not defile your land, which Jehovah your Elohim is giving you to inherit it. Okay? So Yeshua became accursed for us.
Yeshua se convirtió en maldición por nosotros.
The second step of this process is Isaiah 53.
El segundo paso de este proceso es Isaías
But you need to
53.
understand Deuteronomy 21 here first.
Pero necesitas primero entender Deuteronomio 21.
Okay, let's read verse 22 and 23 again. It's very important.
Leamos los versículos 22 y 23 de Deuteronomio 21.
If someone has committed a capital crime and is put to death, then hung on a tree, his body is not to remain all night on the tree. But you must bury him the same day, because a person who has been hanged has been cursed by God, so that you will not defile your land, which Jehovah your Elohim has given you inherit. Okay? So it's very important
Es muy importante
to understand that in this part about the curse,
entender que en esta parte de la maldición
that it talks about inheritance.
que habla acerca de la heredad.
That is very important for chapter 4 and chapter 5.
Esto es muy importante para el capítulo 4 y 5.
You must understand inheritance the way God looks at it.
Debes entender la heredad de la manera como Dios lo entiende.
But the starting of that reference
Pero-
starts here in Galatians 3, verse 13.
Pero el comienzo de esta referencia comienza en Gálatas 3, versículo 13.
Okay, now that we've read Deuteronomy,
Ahora que leímos Deuteronomio,
go back to Galatians 3, verse 13.
vámonos de vuelta a Gálatas capítulo 3, versículo 13.
Yes?
Just one, Rabbi, you taught the same verses last week, in reference to another verse, previous verse in Galatians.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to be sure that I understood. When we speak to a Gentile, and when they say that Yeshua redeemed us from the curse, so we should bring them to this and explain to them this is the curse that he redeemed us, not the curse of the Torah.
Correct.
Like, because we are sinners, so he took our punishment.
Well, it's a two-step process,
Es un proceso de dos pasos.
because we went to Devarim 21.
Porque fuimos a Deuteronomio 21
You have to go to Isaiah 53 for your second part,
y tienes que ir a Isaías 53 para tu segunda parte.
because he becomes a curse for us.
Porque se convierte en una maldición por nosotros.
He took our sins upon himself,
Él tomó nuestros pecados sobre él
and then he gets hung on a tree.
y él es colgado en un árbol.
Okay? So in Deuteronomy 21,
En Deuteronomio 21
it says the person is put to death.
dice que la persona será puesta a muerte.
Once the person has been convicted
Una vez que la persona ha sido juzgada, sentenciada
of this crime,
de este crimen,
he is officially dead.
él oficialmente está muerto.
Then you put him on a tree to
Entonces
kill him.
lo pones en el árbol para matarlo.
Once the person has been found guilty,
Una vez que la persona ha sido
because
encontrada
I get a lot of
culpable,
questions about this verse.
porque hubo muchas preguntas acerca de este verso.
Once the person has been found guilty,
Una vez que esta persona ha sido encontrada culpable,
then they are effectively dead to God.
entonces son efectivamente muertas para Dios.
Then they will either be stoned to death, or in this case, hung on a tree.
Entonces serán apedreadas o colgadas en un árbol.
So that's how you read Deuteronomy 21, verse 22 and 23.
Así es como lees Deuteronomio 21, versículos 22 y 23.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we go back to Galatians 3, verse 13.
Vámonos a Gálatas capítulo 3, versículo 13.
Messiah redeemed us from the curse pronounced in the Torah by becoming cursed on our behalf. For the Tanakh says everyone who hangs from a stake comes from the curse. See, that's what the Gentiles don't want to read.
Aquí es donde los gentiles no quieren leer.
They don't want to read the second half of the sentence.
No quieren leer la segunda parte de la oración.
They just want to read the first part. He's redeemed us from the curse.
Ellos solo leen la primera parte donde se nos redimió de la maldición.
No, child, keep reading.
No, niño, sigue leyendo
And read it with feeling,
y léelo con pasión
so you understand what you're reading.
Así entenderás lo que estás leyendo.
Because a lot of people don't read, they read, but they don't comprehend what they're reading.
Porque mucha gente lee, pero no comprende lo que está leyendo.
Because they don't have good language arts skills.
Porque no tienen buenos skills. Skills. Hold on. Habilidades de gramática.
Okay? Because they dropped out of school.
Porque se salieron de la escuela.
They don't understand vocabulary.
O no entienden el vocabulario.
They don't know how to read. They break the sentence in the wrong part.
No saben cómo leer y dividen la oración en el lugar equivocado.
As one of our students did this morning.
Como uno de nuestros estudiantes hizo una mañana.
Okay? Once you read it with understanding
Una-
and properly,
Una vez que lo lees con entendimiento y de la manera
because
apropiada.
look at verse 13.
Veamos otra vez al versículo
The
3.
Messiah redeemed us from the curse pronounced in the Torah by becoming cursed on our behalf. That's where the Gentiles stop, right?
Ahí es donde el gentil se detiene.
Now let's read it again.
Leamos otra vez.
The Messiah redeemed us from the curse pronounced in the Torah by becoming the curse on our behalf. For the Tanakh says, anyone who hangs from a tree comes under a curse. Okay?
Amen.
They don't keep reading.
Ellos no continúan leyendo.
They just say he became a curse, but they don't understand the rest of the sentence because you didn't read it.
Ellos dicen que nos liberó de la maldición, pero no siguen leyendo.
Okay? One, because it says, now in your Spanish translation, does it say in the Old Testament what does it say for the Tanakh? The scriptures. So what are the scriptures?
¿Cuáles son las escrituras?
In Spanish it says the scriptures.
En el español dice escrituras,
Since the New Testament's not written,
porque desde que el Antiguo Testamento el Nuevo Testamento no está escrito.
okay, the New Testament is not written.
El Nuevo Testamento no está escrito.
The Galatians are the only ones reading the letter to the Galatians.
Los Gálatas son los únicos que están leyendo esta carta.
So
a los
what would the
Gálatas.
scriptures mean?
Entonces, ¿qué escrituras están hablando?
The Torah,
La Torah,
the Tanakh, the Old Testament.
el Tanaj, el Antiguo Testamento.
Let's go on to the next slide.
Siguiente diapositiva.
Let's read verse 13 and 14.
Leamos los versículos 13 y 14.
The Messiah redeemed us from the curse pronounced in the Torah by becoming accursed on our behalf. For the Tanakh says, everyone who hangs from a stake comes under a curse. Yeshua the Messiah did this so that in union with him, the Gentiles might receive the blessing announced to Abraham, so that through trusting and being faithful, we might receive what was pronounced, namely the Spirit. So here we're going to verse 14.
Vamos a ver el versículo 14.
It says, in union with him.
Dice, en unión con él.
In union with Yeshua, the Gentiles might receive an inheritance.
En unión con él, los gentiles recibirán o podrían recibir una herencia.
Once again, he's hinting on what he's going to talk about in chapter 4.
Él está una vez más dejando saber de qué va a hablar en el versículo 4.
Okay? When we get next week, maybe into chapter 4,
Cuando lleguemos la próxima semana, quizá al capítulo 4,
we're going to talk about what the inheritance is.
vamos a hablar de lo que es la herencia.
But you don't get an inheritance unless you're in union with Yeshua.
Pero no vas a obtener una herencia a no ser que estés unido con Yeshua.
So the Gentiles have to leave being a Gentile and become part of the house of Israel.
Los gentiles deben dejar de vivir como gentiles y ser parte de la casa de Israel.
And only one set of rules in the house of Israel, not two sets.
Y solamente tener un set de reglas en la casa de Israel, no dos.
So here, should the Gentiles keep acting like sorcerers?
Aquí los gentiles sigan viviendo como hechiceros.
No.
No.
They have to leave their sorcery, right?
Tienen que dejar su hechicería.
Didn't Abraham have to leave his pagan family to get a blessing?
Tuvo que Abraham dejar a su familia pagana para obtener la bendición.
Now you understand what he's talking about in verse 14.
Ahora puedes entender lo que él está diciendo en el versículo 14.
Now, once you put the two verses together, it looks a whole lot different, doesn't
Ahora,
it?
una vez que pones los dos versículos juntos, se entiende de una manera muy diferente.
This means that Shaul is confirming the Torah in these two verses, not denying it.
Esto dice que ya Rab Shaul está confirmando la Torah en estos versos, no diciendo que debemos anularla.
All right, let's go for another 5 more minutes, okay?
5 minutos más.
Let's go to the next slide. I want to
Siguiente
finish verse
diapositiva.
14.
Vamos a terminar con el versículo 14.
Okay. Verse 14, please.
Versículo 14, por favor.
Yeshua the Messiah did this so that in the union with him the Gentiles might receive the blessing announced to Abraham, so that through trusting and being faithful we might receive what is promised, namely the Spirit. Once again we see the words trusting and faithful.
Una vez más vemos la palabra confiando y fiel.
And so we've already gone over that, what faithfulness is, right?
Ya hemos visto lo que significa que es fidelidad.
Okay, so let's go what the church really loves.
Ahora veamos lo que a la iglesia realmente ama.
They want to receive the Holy Spirit, the
Ellos
Holy Ghost.
Quieren recibir el Espíritu Santo.
They want to receive the Espíritu Santo.
Quieren recibir el Espíritu Santo.
Recibe.
Recíbelo.
That's what they're looking for. Now, let me ask you a question.
Déjame hacerte una pregunta. Ya de
Is the spirit going to live in an adulterous person?
¿Va el espíritu a vivir en una persona adúltera?
What type of person is going to live? What type of spirit is going to live in an adulterous type of person?
¿Qué tipo de espíritu va a vivir en una persona adúltera?
Diablo!
Diablo. A demon. Un demonio.
Staying awake there, Elizabeth? I'm just messing with you tonight. Because Denise is not here. She's sleeping. She asked before what was a Hail Mary. I don't know what the prayer in the Mary prayer is called. Okay, next slide, last slide, everybody.
La
For
última
tonight.
diapositiva de la noche.
Not of this study. Is everybody enjoying this study?
¿Están
Should
disfrutando
we
el
keep,
estudio?
should we keep doing the Galatians? Finish the book of Galatians?
Deberíamos terminar el libro de Gálatas.
All right. Let's read verse 14.
Leamos el versículo 14.
2 more minutes, everybody.
2 minutos más.
Yeshua the Messiah did this so that in union with him the Gentiles might receive the blessing announced to Abraham. So that through trusting and being faithful we might receive what was promised, namely the Spirit. What's the Spirit's job, everybody?
¿Cuál es el trabajo del espíritu? To guide.
Hold your place there. Turn to John 14, verse 26.
Vámonos a mantengan su lugar y vámonos a Juan 14:26.
John 14, verse 26.
Juan 14:26.
Last minute of our class for tonight.
Un minuto más en la clase de esta noche.
John Yochanan 14, verse 26.
Juan capítulo 14 versículo 26.
John 14, verse 26. We're going to see what the Spirit's job is from Yeshua's lips.
Juan 14 versículo 26. Vamos a ver de qué se trata el trabajo del espíritu por medio de las palabras de Yeshua.
Espíritu Santo.
Holy Spirit.
But the counselor, the Ruach HaKodesh, whom the Father will send in my name, will teach you everything. That is, he will remind you of everything I said to you. What's the Spirit's job?
¿Cuál es el trabajo del espíritu?
He's a reminder.
Es para recordar.
He's not the comforter, which
No es-
some poor translations have.
No es el consolador.
He is a counselor. He's a lawyer.
Él es un abogado, él es un consejero,
Okay? He's a lawyer.
es un consejero.
And
un
Yeshua
abogado
said at the
abogado.
end of verse 26,
Yeshua dijo al final del versículo
the
26,
Spirit's going to remind you of everything Yeshua said.
el Espíritu les recordará todo lo que Yeshua
Now, what did Yeshua say?
¿Qué dijo Yeshua?
He said,
Él
not
dijo,
one jot or tittle will be missing from the Torah until heaven and earth pass away.
ni una jota ni una coma se perderá de la palabra hasta que el cielo y tierra pasen.
All right, we're going to stop on slide number 133. 133. Any questions here in the room?
Algunas preguntas en esta habitación.
Any questions? Oscar, you've been quiet today. You got one question, Mr. Oscar? Espíritu Santo. Well, how do you put somebody on a tree? How do you hang somebody on a tree? Crucifixion started like 700 years before Messiah came to earth as a man. Then you would only need one nail. If his hands are above his head in a cross position,
Si la manera de crucifixión de Yeshua sería así,
then you would only need one nail now, wouldn't you?
solo necesitarían un clavo,
Because you could put it between both holes.
porque lo puede poner por medio de los dos huecos en la muñeca.
And his hands were outstretched.
Sus manos fueron extendidas.
And there's a lot of historical documentation to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Hay mucha documentación histórica para probar este hecho.
Okay.
I'm sorry. La crucifixión romana comenzó 700 años antes de la venida de Yeshua.
And I gave 3 messages, 3 lessons on that particular subject.
Y también di 3 mensajes con ese tema en particular.
But even if not,
Pero incluso si no,
was he still hung on a tree?
fue él aún colgado en un árbol.
Do you still got to follow Torah?
Aún debe seguir la Torah.
See, people get into stupid things
La gente se mete en cosas estúpidas
and get you off the trail of what you need to do.
y te aleja del camino que debes hacer.
And they get in fights about stupid topics.
Cuando hay peleas de temas estúpidos.
So if you don't believe he was crucified like this,
Si no crees que él fue crucificado así
and stupidly you believe his hands were like this,
y estúpidamente creen que las manos estuvieron
either
cruzadas,
way, was he crucified?
de cualquier manera fue el crucificado.
Did he die?
Murió.
Do you still have to follow Torah?
Tienes aún que seguir la Torah.
Checkmate.
Jaque mate.
Well, the hole would still be there even if his hands were together.
El orificio va a estar ahí aún si fueron sus manos cruzadas,
But all the
cruzadas.
but all the historical documentation, and they have people that have been found with the nails still in their hands, and it was in both hands.
Pero hay mucho documento histórico donde comprueba o confirma esta creencia y han encontrado pues personas con las manos crucificadas, con las manos abiertas.
Any questions on WebEx?
Preguntas en Webex.
All right, let's wrap in prayer. Thank you, Lord, for your blessings today. Thank you, Lord, for this beautiful study. Thank you, Lord, for your servant Shaul, although he is confusing when you don't know Torah. But thank you for this knowledge and this wisdom that we may be a light to those around us. In your name, Yeshua. Amen.
Shalom, this is Messianic Rabbi Andrew Dinnerman. I would personally like to thank you for tuning in to the Remnant's Call each and every week. You can listen to the full message on our website, bethgoyim.org.
If you have drawn closer to the King of Kings, learned more about Him today, we are blessed. If you are blessed by these messages, please consider a donation to our ministry. You can go to our website, bethgoyim.org. That's BETHGOYIM.org, and click on the donate button. You do not have to have a PayPal account to donate. All you need is a debit card. Once again, thank you very much for listening to The Remnant's Call.
If you have not taken your first steps to be born again, just ask God's help. Remember, it's His loving grace that has come to find you. No one is worthy or able to reach God, but God can reach us, and He's reaching out to you now. Just open your heart and let Him in. His arms are open, and the blessing of salvation and eternal life are waiting for you. Don't let it wait any longer.
Ya Adonai, panavoleka, vikuneka, Yisa Adonai, panavoleka, vayasem lecha, shalom. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord lift His face to shine upon you. May the Lord be gracious unto you and give you His shalom.
Shalom. My name is Messianic Rabbi Andrew Dinnerman, and I invite you to come to visit our congregation. If you are in the tri-state area, come out and visit with us on Shabbat. We are a congregation of Jews and Gentiles, living as one in the Messiah Yeshua. Bgmc is a place of true worship. The focus never wanders from the Hebraic roots of our faith. Beth Goyim is rooted in the Word of God from Bereshit through to the book of Revelation. Messiah's strong words against man-made tradition are carefully recorded in Matthew 7. That is the reason we only follow the straight-up instructions found in Scripture, truly the way, the truth, and the life. If you're looking for a deeper walk with Adonai, come out for our Tuesday evening Bible study called Messianic Torah Time. Come, spend a day with us on any Shabbat. We start at 11 a.m. with the sound of the ancient Hebrew shofar. Next, we offer our King praise and worship in English, Hebrew, and Spanish. After worship, we review the headlines in the previous week's news from around the globe, especially news from the Holy Land, Israel. We don't just list the news headlines as current events, but we comb through the scriptures, searching for clues to understand what they mean and then to help pinpoint prophetically our current position on Adonai's clock. After digesting all that modern information, we leave the world behind as we journey with our Adonai deep into His eternal Word, not with just one or two scriptures, but usually 7 or more scriptures. The spiritual nourishment and the richness of His kingdom become accessible to the ones who share this special time and seek them out. The day does not end there. Because Shabbat is so special to Him, there is always so much more that our King desires to share. So instead of separating and leaving, we stay together as a family for potluck lunch and an afternoon study of our King's Word. We close the Shabbat together with a reading of the new week's parashah. That's the Torah portion. Even after those blessings, many of us just can't get enough. So the members bring prepared homemade foods to share while we all enjoy an uplifting movie together. If all that information is not quite enough, you can check out our website where you will find over 200 video teachings and biblical holy day studies. Under Messianic Torah Time, the Hebrew Roots button, you'll discover free studies on many, many different topics, including PowerPoint slide presentations. If Beth Goyim sounds like a place you'd love to visit, but you live outside the tri-state area, there is still a way to connect with us. We stream live on the internet on Tuesday
Thursday, and Shabbat. The website is www.bethgoyim.org. That's BETHGOYIM.org. Our phone number is 973-338-7800 or 978-2-YESHUA. That's 978, the number 2, Yeshua. Shalom.